how to easily steal your competitors' customers, and this works for any business, niche, offer. Everything is completely legal and most of it is absolutely free. Now, to get started, I want to give some context of what inspired this particular episode. And essentially, I live on the Gold Coast in Coolangatta area, and we are currently going through a cyclone. Now, people around here are not really used to cyclones, but because I come from a third world country and I have a bit more context of how bad things could be, I'm not getting any scare or paranoid about it. In fact, I'm very familiar with natural events like this one because a big part of my remote team is actually based on a country that consistently goes through typhoons, which are quite similar to a cyclone. In essence, it's a bunch of rain and wind, and waves get pretty hectic. There can be some flooding. But here's the point. Yesterday, I was told at my usual coffee shop that they wouldn't be opening today and tomorrow. So today is Thursday. And I was shocked. I was like, what do you mean you're not opening, right? And then I found out that people that consume consistent media, news, and all this stuff have been bombarded with things about the cyclone. So a bunch of fear has been fed to everyone online. People went crazy. They went to all the supermarkets and took all the toilet paper and all the food and all this stuff. And essentially, today in the morning, the weather was totally fine. There was a little bit of rain. My gym was closed. Everyone closed for today. Guess what? I still went to work out. I still did my workout. I have my gym garage. So I don't stop being consistent and disciplined because there is some rain going on. After that, I went to get my coffee because I'm not one of those people that is just gonna take this as an opportunity to just chill out and do nothing at home like most people are doing today here in Australia. I have things to do. I have customers to serve at the highest level, and I wanted a coffee to fuel me for my day. And I knew there would be someone around here that would actually open. So my usual coffee shop, they did say what they were going to do, which was not show up. They didn't show up for me today. They closed down. And after just going for a few laps, I found a nearby coffee shop that actually decided to show up, even though the weather, the news, and everything was suggesting to not do it. Guess what happened? They took over all the dream customers of all the coffee shops around the area. Literally, it was completely packed. These guys would have a massive day for their business. And guess what? That business owner probably still was scared to show up. He clearly didn't know what to expect. He just knew there is an opportunity here to take over all the coffee people, that even though it might be raining like crazy and there will be a bunch of wind and whatnot, they will still want their morning coffee, just like myself. And even though we showed up and there was like a 20-minute wait time to get the bloody coffee, guess what? We still waited. I didn't care. In fact, I got excited to know that I was gonna get a coffee today, even though 99% of coffee shops were closed. And I'll tell you what as well, that business owner probably, even his staff, most of them probably told him as well, like, hey, Mr. Boss, it's gonna be raining a lot, so I'm not gonna show up to work. He still showed up because he knew this was the perfect opportunity to make some money and sell coffees like crazy. So all this story is to tell the very first point of how to ethically steal your competitors' customers, and is showing up consistently. This is so easy and simple to do, and it requires zero money. If you show up every single day, there will be times where you will be lucky. You will get lucky because you don't miss any day. And as a result of that, You will be there on the bad days, but also the good days. Today was a great day for that coffee shop because maybe they were low on staff, maybe they had to overcome certain challenges, maybe the weather was a bit annoying. They took over all the customers today, so they got to stay on top and sell like crazy. And guess what? Tomorrow would happen the same exact thing. Tomorrow, 99% of coffee shops will be closed, and I guarantee you these guys will open. So again, just your ability to show up every single day, regardless of the circumstances and the challenges that you might be facing, and sometimes might be scary. You might not know what will be the result of you showing up. Things might not go exactly to plan. Even some of your staff as well might not want to show up depending on what it is, right? But you as the founder, as the business owner, as the leader, you have to show up regardless of the circumstances. That wasn't even an option for me today to not show up, and I still conduct myself just like it's any other day of the week. I still get my training in, I went, got my coffee, and I came to get things done. And some interesting things as well happen as a result of that. I went to share a video of it on social media, just making fun of the people that got scared by a little bit of rain. And guess what? Some of my clients are even laughing at it because we work with high-level 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs and business owners, and they were all agreeing with what I had to say of, yeah, that's funny how most people will take this as an opportunity to just lay down, chill, be lazy, just consume more news and fear that is being fed to them. Most of us are actually just getting things done. We're just working. We're just seeing this as an incredible opportunity to take over our markets and get ahead of our competitors. So point number one, just show up more than what your competitors do, because also there will be some lucky days that you can only take advantage of if you do show up consistently. Now, point number two, continue to use the same story of the coffee shop. Their coffee wasn't as good as my normal coffee shop, but it was good enough that I'm more than happy to go back to them if my coffee shop is not open for some reason. So point number two is build a better product. If you build a better product than your competitors, it's just a matter of time for their customers to want to come to you. So this is extremely important. You have to continuously be improving your product and truly aiming to be the world-class solution in your particular industry. My team and I are obsessed with getting better. We're consistently looking for areas of improvement. How can we take our customer journey, experience, product, everything to the next level so that our existing customers want to work with us for a very long time, which means our lifetime value per customer increases quite significantly. And this has been something that truly allowed us to retain clients for a very long time, past 12 months when they partnered with us. But also eventually the customers of my competitors will come to ask for information, and if they have a good reason to leave, guess what? We're gonna be the option that they think about to solve the specific problem that they have. And in fact, this becomes so deep-seated in the subconscious. And using again the example of the coffee shop, now normal coffee shop did, which was not showing up on a day where things just looked a little bit out of norm. Now my default thinking is that next time there are some news or some event that is similar to the one that just took place, I will assume that they are not going to show up. And the first person that will come to mind is their competitors that did show up on the day that I wanted a coffee. So again, if you can, on top of that, build a better product, chances are you will snatch that customer from your competitors. Point number 3 is make decisions based on data. Going back again to the same example, people were freaking out around the area that we are because, in fact, there are certain places where they are at risk of flooding. And our studio is on a newer complex where it seems like some precautions were taken for this place to not be flooded essentially. Something very extreme will need to happen for this place to get flooded. So instead of freaking out with the news that I'm seeing online or what people are just saying, the rumors that are being spread, the first thing that we do is look at the data. Guess what? Our COO went and sent a text to the real estate management person of our studio, just double checking, hey, is there anything that we should keep in mind when it comes to flooding with the current cyclone? And she just reassured us like, hey, all that construction took into account the potential of flooding in the area, so they're not meant to get flooded. Okay, so that was the first point of data that is credible, believable, is a real estate agent. So we got that point of data. Now, the second thing that she did was she asked the neighbors, which are, it happens to be a carpenter. They have more to lose when it comes to their vehicles and a few of the things if they were to get flooded. And guess what? This guy went in and did some proper measurements to assess what will need to happen for our complex and our office spaces to actually get flooded. And it turned out that based on the data that he gathered, it will need to be like freaking a meter of water before it even gets to our studio, because also there's a good drainage system and some things were taken into account when it was the construction of the place. So that was 2 points of data that told me there's no reason for us to freak out about the situation and we can come tomorrow to the office. Everything is going to be fine. There's going to be some rain. As I'm recording this, there is rain and wind outside, but everything is fine. Everything is totally cool and we shouldn't be at risk of flooding. So that data allowed me to make an informed and confident decision that there were very little chances of us not getting to work or being in a position where we wouldn't have access to our things. Now, even though I have the data and I'm extremely confident that we're gonna be all fine, we still took some extra precautions by bringing some of our expensive gear that is in the studio section downstairs up here where it would be totally safe from any flooding and we don't have to run any risk if we were out of the studio and overnight things just happen to get absolutely insane and get flooded. So we look at the objective measurable data. We got informed from people that were not trying to feed us the wrong information, but were also had the best interest at giving us the right information. So again, make decisions based on data, and this comes back to you being able to steal your competitors because you look at literally what are the points of data within your industry, within your niche, within your offer that will point you to what are the right action steps to take in order to take the customers of your competitors. This will point you out if there's a particular problem that this specific niche consistently experience, or there is an expectation that they might have. Just like today, again, this coffee shop just knew based on the data, like all these coffee shops around are going to be closed, but the chances of every single person to just stay at home if the rain is not as hard, if the weather is not as crazy as they're deeming it to be online, they will still want their coffee. So they took a reasonable bet of just opening, and guess what? It fully paid off. They reaped the rewards because they showed up. They had a great product, but they also look at the points of data to make an informed decision that ultimately paid off for them, and it's also paying off for us because we're here working as productive as we can be on our studio today to get ahead, while most of our competitors will be just taking the day off, chilling, just looking at the Cyclone on a freaking radar or whatnot, seeing how it's going to come, consuming tweets. We're just here getting things done, serving our clients, and our clients are stoked as well because they're getting responses. We're getting back to them and we're just giving them files and things to review, so they know that, oh, these legends are still showing up even though every other business is closed. So again, make decisions based on data. Point number 4 is have a better experience overall. Even though today was a very busy day at that particular coffee shop that we managed to get a hold of, the experience was awesome. People were just talking. Our COO was the one getting the coffees, so she just got a great interaction with the person at the till box that also didn't make a big deal of the rain. She was just like, oh yeah, the weather, whatever, you know. We got our coffees, they were fine, they were all good, and we were super stoked to have our coffee and back to the studio here to get some work together. So they got us a great experience while being there, even though we have to wait way longer than usual, because I was all hyped up as well, just feeling like we're just getting ahead of our competitors. I also took the time being on the vehicle waiting for my coffee to make content, so I got super productive with that time anyways. So again, they offer me a great experience this morning and ultimately gave me the result that I was after, which was getting a coffee to tackle my very busy day. Okay, so ultimately this is the same thing we do to take over our market and snatch customers from our competitors. Is we just focus a lot on building a world-class experience. When they come to our studio, we have snacks for them, we have a bunch of different drinks, there's aircon, we're treating them like kings and queens. Literally, they don't have to do anything. We steam their clothes. That's the level of care that we have when someone comes to our studio, or if we go to them, because we have clients that we go to the location, and if we're serving them remotely, we also make sure that they have an incredible experience with ourselves. Another example, we had a client that recently hit top 10 in her particular niche in the podcast rankings, and she had her birthday, so we sent her a birthday present. We gave in an experience at a specific bathhouse that was close to her location, and we sent him a message of, hey, well done on being a top 10 podcast and happy birthday. We gave her a call on FaceTime, so she's putting a face to our entire team singing happy birthday, and she's just stoked. She's one of our best advocates as well. She's literally recommending us to a bunch of people. So again, big part of stealing competitors is just offering an overall world-class and much better experience to what they're used to. Same thing with one of our recent partners that came on board. He's well-rounded when it comes to all the content and things, but he was pitched by even friends of him that had an agency that also offers podcasts and content services, but ultimately he decided to come to us. And we don't take that lightly, because we know that he chose us over his friend because he believed that we not only are going to get him the results that he's after, but also that overall he will have a much better experience, which again is something that we put a heavy focus on so that we can steal our competitors' customers, but also retain our clientele once they are in our world, in our ecosystem. Now, the last point is identify and exploit their weaknesses. This is something that relates to everything we just covered, which is you don't not only want to pay attention to what the data says of what your dream customer wants and is looking for, and the problems that they have and the desired outcomes that you can get for them with your offers, but you also want to identify and exploit the weaknesses of your competitors. That's exactly what this coffee shop did today. Again, he just took a second to look at what the competitors were going to do the following days once the cyclone was announced. And guess what? They all said it. They publicly, they just announced, hey guys, we're not opening. So feel free to come back to us on the weekend or next week. They stayed quiet and just went and execute. They just opened. They didn't tell anyone like, hey guys, we're not opening. They just treated like it was another day on business. So again, look at everything that a competitor is offering and find a way to exploit that to your advantage so that you can build a better product, deliver a better experience, and always think, how can I grab all these weaknesses that I see on my competitors and turn them into our biggest advantage? This is something that I quickly realized in our industry, the podcast and content marketing agencies. They're too slow. They move way too slow. And my dream customer, 7, 8, and 9-figure founders, entrepreneurs, and business owners, they love speed. They understand that success, wealth, and business love speed. So that has been one of our biggest advantages. I exploited that weakness because I knew that what we do is extremely complicated. And if you don't have a fully dialed in system and process for content creation, for podcasts, for volume and high quality of content with the right strategy as well for them to get the results that they want, they are gonna take too long to deliver. Some of our competitors take over a month to launch a podcast. We do that in 5 days. We literally get someone to record the content, or they come to us and we record everything for them, or we do it completely remotely with our podcast license, and their podcast gets launched within 5 days. There's no time to lose because we know that's just one of the very first steps for them to start seeing the results that they are paying us for. So speed has been a huge focus for me to fully dominate my industry, and in fact we keep doubling down on that. One of the reasons why we are building the #1 video podcast agency is because we are the fastest at getting the job done. So that's something that we continue to double down on, and I identified early on that that was a weakness of my competitors, and I've been exploiting that, because even if one of them is watching this and they realize, fuck, he's right, we're too slow, we need to become faster. I know that's not easy. I know that's not a quick change that they do. They might get it done for the very next one, but to keep that speed and process in place consistently takes a lot of time, takes a lot of trial and error, and it's something that we've been building for years now. I know they have too much to catch up, and to be honest, most of them are just plainly lazy. This is the other part in your market and competitors. Most of them are actually too lazy to implement the things that they know they need to do in order to steal customers and also retain longer their existing customers, because they know it takes work. They know it takes a lot of trial and error, and they don't want to go through it. Whereas myself and any other successful business owner that you speak to, like my clients, they get excited for opportunities like this. We are so stoked to even have access to days like this where our competitors are just being lazy, chilling, not doing anything productive. Those are my favorite days, the days where all of them pussy out and I just get to go all in. And by the way, this is not just me, this is my entire team. Literally, as I'm recording this video, my team is working here with me. We're all here in the trenches together. Not only that, all our remote team, same exact thing. Even there's just one team member that didn't came physically today to our studio because she lives in an area where it's like 40 minutes away. It's more prone to get through some of those flooring areas. So we just told her, hey, work from home. She's been working from home, getting things done while everyone else is just chilling or taking the day off or just literally wasting time looking at the news. So again, if you implement those 5 things that I cover here today, show up every day consistently. Don't let your dream customers down and your existing customers. You have to show up, especially if you're the founder, business owner, or leader of an organization. build a better product, and ultimately it's just a matter of time for those customers to look for you to solve the problems that they have. Make decisions based on data. Don't freak out. Don't be overreactive to things like most people do. Literally look for the point of truth. Look for data, and then you will be confident to make better decisions. Build a better experience. Again, once someone is in your ecosystem, how can you deliver such a world-class experience that it will be a no-brainer for them to want to continue to work with you for many years to come? And lastly, identify and exploit the weaknesses of your competitors. Use them to your advantage to serve your customers and clients to the highest level, to continue to improve your product, and even to maximize your marketing as well, so that you can deeply reach your dream customers and snatch their attention and bring them, attract them to you, because you are literally speaking their language, the problems they have, the desires that they have, and also you can offer the result that they're after. I hope you got value out of today's episode. If you're a founder, business owner who's looking to become an authority in their space and generate premium leads on autopilot with a viral podcast system, feel free to schedule a call with my team at Vibes Creative today. I will see you on the next episode.